Right, it's time for another new video. I haven't done one actually for over a week. I've sort of had a bit of a mad one of doing several videos in over a very short period of time. Haven't done anything now for a week. First of all, the first part of this video really is to say an absolute massive, and I mean absolute massive thanks to all you guys out there that have been subscribing, that follow my channel, that have been making comments. It's absolutely unbelievable that I've got over 600 subscribers. I think I've picked up 100 subscribers in quite a short period of time actually. I think something like 3 months. I think April was perhaps the last time that I did a 100 subscribers special increase. I think that was at 500, and in fact in a couple of months, 3 months, it sort of hit over 600. I'm just absolutely blown away by it, and I really like the fact that there appears to be sort of a little community building up really between certain YouTubers that make comments, and yeah, it's really good. Like I say, I'm absolutely blown away, guys, by the subscriptions that have been building up, and actually more importantly really by the comments that you guys are making, and the views I get. I just think it's absolutely great, and as long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making the videos, so hopefully they'll continue to be as enjoyable, or actually even better hopefully in the future than what they have been so far. So to cut to the chase on this video, there's a bit of a sort of special video really as regards to my 600 subscribers. I thought I'd do a bit on emulation. I don't really do much on emulation. I've done a couple of things on MAME as regards to some new things that have come out over time as regards to cave releases. I don't really spend that much time on emulation, if I'm being honest. I haven't really done many videos on it, like I said. Now, I've done a previous video on scan converters, and it was only really in general, but I did actually show you a scan converter that I've got that is called the Extron Emotia, which is that baby there. Hopefully you can see that. This is a pretty doody scan converter for retro stuff. It is probably the best as regards to, okay, I'll rephrase that, not for retro stuff, but only for retro targets. So a standard def CRT. If you've got a console or a PC that outputs, for instance, a 480p image, this awesome device will convert that into a 240p image for input into something like a TV or an arcade monitor, and it will give you scan lines. And again, I'm not going to go through a massive amount of detail about that process because I've already gone through that on a previous video. So if you want some insight into that, and look at my previous video on scan converters. But basically what this will enable me to do is to take a video signal, for instance, from something like an Xbox 360 that is in 640, in 480p mode, in progressive mode via the VGA. I can bang it through this. It will actually scan convert it down to a 15 kilohertz signal to 240p. I can then feed that into my Sony CRT behind me, and it will give it natural scan lines. This is to take a progressive high-res image, and it can go up to, this will actually recognise up to 1024 by 768 as the resolution, and it will basically scan convert it, downscale it, whatever you want to say, but certainly scan convert it to a low-res image, which is 15 kilohertz. It will play on a standard def CRT. Now that's what I'm going to do for this particular sort of video, and I'm going to pick on a specific emulator to do this with. I'm going to run the emulator off my main PC. So I'm going to take a signal out of my main PC, I'm going to feed it into this baby, I'm going to output it from this and stick it straight through my CRT TV behind me, and you'll see it with scan lines, but it will be fed from my PC, and it will be down scan converted, if that's the right word. It was scan converted to a 15 kilohertz signal. Now you can actually get around this by not having a box like this, but you have to use something like an arcade VGA card. You have to use a compatible emulator that will and can output a 15 kilohertz image. You can use something called Soft 15 kilohertz, which is a software application that will actually work with certain video cards, predominantly ATI ones, and it will enable the ATI video card to output a low res signal out of your PC. And those methods do work, but they take a bit of messing around. It'll only work with certain things. Using a device like this will work first time, every time. It'll just work. You won't have to do anything special specifically to your PC. And they're easy to work with because they'll just work. So yeah, there are more than one way to skin a cat, but certainly for the purpose of this, I'm going to be using a Super Emotia to actually convert effectively a 600p image or a 480p image, depending on what resolution I choose from the PC, down to a 240p image into my standard def CRT, and it will show you scan lines. It'll be a proper, it won't be interlaced, so you won't get all the flicker. It'll be a proper 240p image, and it will look awesome. Now the particular emulator I'm going to choose for this is actually the Sharp X68000 emulator. I did actually toy with buying one of these recently, over the past sort of 2-3 weeks. I did a bit of reading up on it, and it's one of the few sort of retro gaming setups that I want, all I wanted. And I thought, you know what, they're going to cost a shitload of money to get hold of. They're not supposed to be the most reliable of items. I'm just going to stick with emulation, and actually I'm not even going to bother with it at all, to be honest, because I've got all the, or nearly all the arcade, well yeah, I've got all the arcade conversions, sorry, I've got all the arcade versions, so why do I want to buy a retro PC to actually play slightly less than faithful arcade ports, even though they are extremely close to the original arcade versions. And obviously that's all part about being a collector, but I'm not actually that bothered about it. So I actually thought I'd look at the emulator side of it, and I've got all the emulator working on my PC, but I wanted to connect it up to my CRT to get basically as is, owning the original hardware, replicated in essence, emulated on my PC, but played through on a standard def CRT, so it's as original as what I can get it in essence. Just have a bit of a play around with it. I'm not going to use it that much. I'll probably do this video on it. I've played a little bit on it so far, but because I've got all the arcade versions, what's the point of using it in that way? But that isn't a reason not to collect it, and I'm starting to waffle, so I'll stop all this. So yeah, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a VGA output from a graphics card on the PC. I've got a pretty funky graphics setup on that, so I've got dual cards. I can use it crossfire mode and overclock and all that shizzle, but I don't need to do any of that for this purpose because we're just running an emulator. So basically what I'm going to end up doing is I will feed a VGA signal into the back of this baby, and you've got an input, D sub 15 input, just there. Just let it focus. Come on. It's probably not going to focus very well. Yeah, that's focused into there. And basically the output on this, you can either use Super Video or Compass Shite, and we're not going to be using Compass Shite for anything in my life, but we could use those if we wanted to. But basically this is what I'm interested in using. This is RGB and sync, and basically I need to get that, and I need to get that converted into SCART RGB, so I can plug it straight into my Sony. And basically what we've got out here is we've got a BNC connection, which is converted back into a D sub 15. Now that's going to be low res, so 15 kilohertz, which you don't normally associate with a D sub 15, but it's irrelevant. And to actually get this to work properly, the easiest way that I can do that is by using one of Arcade Forge's ultimate SCART adapter, which again I've done a video on, and this will be another use for this kind of adapter. So basically you feed in the D sub 15 connection into there, sorry, the way around, into there, and it basically just alters the connection method and plays around with the sync to get to SCART RGB output. So I'll basically plug that into my TV via another SCART to SCART lead, and I'll feed audio into it as well from a PC. And I need to plug this in to get power to it to get it all to work, but that's all straightforward. And basically you connect all this up and it just works. So you effectively treat a Sony CRT as another PC monitor. That's basically what happens. And you'll see me boot into Windows. I will change that to be my main desktop area, my main monitor. So I'll have two monitors on my desk and this one behind me, but bear with me on that. And the resolution will be all over the shop on that, because it'll be a 640 by 480 I'll change it to, but then I'll run the emulator will start on that, on the Sony CRT. I'll put it into full screen mode and it will look virtually like it would look if it was the original Sharp X68000. And I'll show you some games running on it with the glorious scan lines. So I will stop waffling. I'll get on to, well, I won't actually stop waffling because I'll carry on waffling, but at least I'll show you something interesting to look at other than my ugly face. So I'll cut now straight to hopefully showing you all that setup working. Right, so here we have the Sharp X68000. Is that right? 6800, 6000, 68,000, 60. Oh no, the Sharp X68 running from my PC, but you're actually seeing this on my Sony CRT, so it's in full low res mode, and it looks absolutely stunning. So to get this to work, I've had to use my Extron Emotia, which is taking the high-res image out of my PC, and it is scan converting it down to 240p progressive, and it's giving me scan lines. So if I just have a look at here, and you'll see glorious scan line vajazzle. Hopefully you can pick it up. You're probably not getting a fat lot there. You should be able to get some scan lines on there. Seems to appear better on some colours than it does others. But it's trust me, it looks absolutely stunning. And this game itself on the X68 is an absolute brilliant game. I'm not sure how you pronounce the game. Chorensha 68K. Absolutely great shoot 'em up. This isn't an arcade conversion, it was specifically made for the Sharp, and it was actually ported as well to Windows. Windows 98 I think, but this is an absolute, I mean it really is full on retro. This is, there's a shoot 'em up, awesome music, great retro style graphics, and I'll tell you what, it's absolutely rock hard, it really is. A real good game. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about looking at an emulator and using a CRT TV. to actually play it on. Let's see if we can. But if you want some scanline shizzle, this is it, hopefully. Hopefully you'll think that looks pretty impressive, because I think it does. It's, you know, it's quite amazing actually when you use a you know, normal PC and you can connect it up to an old CRT, you know, an SD CRT, not a this isn't a PC monitor, this is a normal a CRT TV, low res 15 kilohertz, but it looks as the original Sharp would look if it was running on native hardware, to be fair. No lag. I play it with a control pad, I can play it with a joystick and everything, and it just works, you know, absolutely just works, great. So yeah, get onto eBay, guys. If you enjoy emulation stuff, obviously, get onto eBay, get a CRT TV, get a Extron Emotia scan converter, and you too can have this.